You're listening to Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey.
Welcome to episode 135 of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey. My name is Ted Stovin, coming to you from Drayton Valley, Alberta. And he's
in
my
your
co-host.
Are you in your childhood bed?
No, I'm not. I'm in well, Wacey, since you wanted to go there, my parents are divorced and have been since about 2000 and I don't even know what year now, actually. It's been quite a while. Kind of like to block that moment out, so thanks for bringing it back, but I haven't stayed in my childhood bed for a while.
Fair enough.
Yeah, at mom's condo in town. She flew to New Zealand yesterday. My mom's well, they just got married. My mom and her partner Dawn. They just got hitched on Vancouver Island a while back.
Nice.
But they're going to Dawn, like some mom's husband's daughter's wedding in New Zealand. So they're going down there. It's like the 5th of February, I think. So
Nice.
we're here at Calgary. But anyways, I'm in Drayton Valley on the road doing some sales. Got the puppy Pippa with me. We're on the road.
Nice. Road dog.
So yeah, doing some sales out on the road here. We just got back from Dallas. Wacey, you're in Vernon, and you've got some big news to share with everybody. I got it by email the other day.
We are relocating the downtown division.
Yeah, province over.
Province over, shifted over to Vernon, the booming metropolis in the middle of the smack dab in the middle of Okanagan. Yeah. But
Right
Jen and I
on.
decided it's next time to take the next step in our relationship. So
There
doing
you
it.
go.
Really doing it, Harry.
There you go. Congrats
a
on
good
the
time.
move.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're out in Vernon, Wace, and you're coming back to Calgary to get your stuff, move back over there. Do you think you can fit it all in the RAV? How much are you downsizing?
I'm downsizing quite a bit because like all of my kitchen stuff is obsolete now that moving into Jen's kitchen. She's got pretty much everything we need. And
Nice.
then we don't need to bring my couch. So I'm getting rid of like almost over half my stuff, and then like probably
Right on.
getting rid of half of my clothes. So
Right
it'll
on.
I got a little U-Haul trailer rented, so she'll be able to jam
Oh, look
everything in
at
that,
that.
and that'll be that.
That's cool.
Yes,
So are you having like a Kijiji sale, like Wacey's moving sale, or what are you doing?
no, it's kind of works out
You're just
good.
leaving
'cause
it there to saying see ya, or
Well,
what?
so the person who's taking over my place is buying some of my stuff off me, like my patio set
Nice.
and my barbecue, which is really handy. You don't have to worry about dragging that down.
Hey, there you go.
And then my sister's moving into a new place, so she's taking like my couch and bar stools and a bunch of like random furniture that I don't need. So kind of
Cool,
works
man.
out well that way.
Right
Yeah,
on.
so doing that and
Right on.
really
So
doing
now
it,
that
eh?
now that you live in BC, are you gonna wear toques more often? Is this gonna be a thing?
I mean, I've been skiing all
toque guy now?
weekend, so it's kind of cold up here. So I'm just,
Oh, okay.
we just got in from doing some tubing at the Tube
That's
Town
cool. That's
Silver
cool.
Star Mountain Resort. Yeah,
Where are you exactly right now?
I'm at a Airbnb at Silver Star.
Oh,
We
like
had a
you're
bunch
at the
of- we had a-
ski hill.
Yeah, we had a bunch of friends come in from Calgary, like Josh and Amanda came in for the weekend to
Cool.
do some skiing and stuff. So we're hanging out. Yeah,
Right on.
last
right
night.
on.
It's
There
been a good
you go.
weekend. It's been nice. Getting
Sweet.
the slopes, good conditions.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
right
man.
on.
So
Well,
good. It's
then
exciting times. Yeah,
we just got back from Dallas. Had a great show down there. Thanks everybody for stopping by the booth.
it was very cool. Yeah,
Saw lots of folks. Had a good show. We shipped a bunch of stuff on Monday when we got back, and then we've been on the run. I got to go see Sandy Cooper. We saw Maggie Cooper down in Dallas. Saw Coulter down there, and yeah, I got to go meet Sandy. I got to talk about that too, Ace, because he was like, for what happened. So for those that don't know, might not know what happened. So Sandy got in a bronc riding wreck on December 30th, I think it was,
yeah, it's right around New Year's.
in Brooks, and landed on his head, and I think, I don't know how to tell the story exactly, but I think he broke his neck right there, and was like, I think he was paralyzed from the neck down at that point. I think he was in a coma for a while, and then they did something and they didn't know if he could breathe on his own, and then he got by that, and then he's just consistently improved, and is moving his like both of his arms again now. And I think, and they said he can only get better from here, is what they said. They don't know how far. Like I think Maggie told me that he broke his C3, 4, and 5 or something, and they say that anything below that you don't really get your feeling back. So for him to already have his arms back, like some of his arm movements back, is already a huge benefit. But like that kid was so positive, it just blew my mind. Like for what just happened, he was just so positive. I was incredibly impressed and glad to be there. And I brought him a couple things, and he was super thankful. And then Maggie's been sending me pictures. He's been wearing our shirt and our hat, doing his physio.
Yeah, she sent me a
and
picture of
whatnot.
him wearing it, and he said it's his favorite hat ever. He's never taken it off. So
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
glad to see that. And yeah, gonna go back and see him here next week as well. So, but I gotta say, yeah, there's a huge GoFundMe out there for him right now. So, so what they got, like, they have to totally retrofit the house so that he can get around. I don't know what that's gonna cost. I think I heard a number about like $250,000 to do rehab, to like go and actually do like the full physio treatment and everything. So I think it was at $100,000 when I looked the other day, 107,000. I don't know what it's at now, but if anybody listening can donate, go to it's the main link on Coulter's
Walls,
Instagram.
Instagram.
We should put that in ours too. Actually, I think Wacey. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, after when we announce when we announce the show, I can add it in.
Yeah, throw in next week. So
yeah,
you'll be able to find it. We'll put it in our link in our bio too. So make sure if you can help out Sandy Cooper Black, give him a hand up and help him out. He's one of the nicest kids you ever meet. I told him that we'd have him on the show here sometime. Maybe.
Oh man, that'd be great.
And he said we should be talking to a guy like J.R. Bazane, and talk about what happened with JR and what his story was throughout his whole ordeal. So I gotta say, I'm a Sandy Cooper fan now after meeting him. So I'm glad I got to meet him, glad I got to connect, and look forward to seeing him again
it's
this
even
week.
cool to talk to people in a circle who like how positive they are and supportive, and even what Coulter's done with donating his album sales. Like that's like for a guy who makes his living off his music, that's a pretty cool thing he's doing. So
100%.
Yeah, we're rooting for him, and it's been cool to see the rodeo community come together. So yeah, we're fans of that young fella for sure.
Exactly.
Very cool.
So yeah, that saw him when we came back. What else we've been up to? I'm on the road again now.
I had like one of the funnest Friday nights ever in Fort Worth.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah, I went up hanging out with Amber Marshall from Heartland. It was funny. My dad was telling me So what happened? So we were supposed to go with the Jones boys are gonna come with us to go to Lonesome Dove in Fort Worth, and then we're gonna go to the show after. And I don't know if they're gonna come along to the show. I think I told Trevor and the crew that, but we ended up getting together with them on Wednesday instead. You guys then got into town yet? You got a little bit. I think you got delayed on the way down.
Delayed,
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I told Amber I knew she was coming down. I was like, "Hey, do you want to come? Do you guys want to come with us? Because we had kind of had plans the other couple days with other folks and whatnot." So, invited them down, and we had like an unreal time. Got to meet Brad Wall. Big fan of Brad. Got to meet him.
Man,
finally.
that was a big time moment for me.
Yeah, me too.
We were talking about it this weekend. It's
me
like,
too.
Man, that's the very first person I ever voted for. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Full circle moment for me.
Pretty awesome. So I got to meet Brad. Got to hang with Coulter again. Pretty unreal Friday night in Fort Worth. We had quite a large time, and what else happened? I kind of forget.
I think
something else went down this week.
We had like 19. You had a picture of 19 of us like on that bull at Billy Bob's.
There was 19 of us on there?
No, I think it was like 11 or 12. But
just a lot though.
There's a lot of folks.
Oh yeah. So tonight I was having dinner with my dad and my brother. And I gave my brother, gave him an old phone of mine. So I gave him a couple old phones. So he didn't have to buy a new one. So Jimmy's got some new phones. He's pumped up, ready to roll. But then brought my dad back all his chew from our travels the last few months. He was down to his last couple bites. So he was pumped to be back in the chew. But we were talking at dinner, and he was like, and Dad just somehow started talking about Heartland. He's like, yeah, and Amy was raising this kid by herself, and Ty died, and he's like talking about the whole storyline of the show. He's like my dad forms his Sundays now around Heartland and watching it. And I was like, no way, Dad, look at this. And I like showed him all the pictures of us with Amber, and he was like, I don't know if he was jealous or if he was like impressed or what, but it was kind of funny that Dad's a big Heartland fan, and we were hanging out with Amber like a week before.
Oh, it's great. That's like, it's kind of similar to like the times we hang out with Corb. It's like I remember when Heartland first came out, and my family used to watch it all the time, and then now to think that we're friends with Amber and hang around her all the time, it's pretty cool.
Was Amber your first horse girl crush?
You say, I probably could say that.
Oh boy. Well, I guess
that was awesome. Fun trip.
Yeah, big time fun. So I guess we'll get to our interview this week. We're again, reliving some of our CFR Canadian Finals Rodeo interviews from, I guess, Cowboy Shit Live. Some of these were filmed in front of a live audience. So if you weren't there, you would have never got to see the show. But this week we talked to our friend David Sharp from the Wrangler Network, Jason Cline from the Ponoka Stampede is the president, and our friend Erick Thornberg from SweetPro and Equipride Networks.
Yeah.
So this was on, like, I think this was the Friday of
yeah, it was the vintage
CFR?
night because I was wearing my sweet Smithfield hat.
Yeah, you had your sick, like, full on
The big feather thing.
front of your hat. Yeah, so thanks to these guys for joining us. We had a really good bullshit with this crew, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. Once again, this is Cowboy Shit. Ted and Wacey. I'm Ted. He's Wacey. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
I've been down the Mississippi, down through New Orleans. Yes, I have. I've played in California. There ain't too much I haven't seen. No, there ain't. But I'm a rambling man. Don't fool around with a rambling man.
Gonna be great. Okay, so we've done a few shows like this. First one was in like 2019. Did them again in 2021. This is our third kind of year doing these at the Canadian Finals Rodeo, and today we got something a little different. We've got kind of the business side.
The business side.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of our friends rounded up. We'll bring them up on the stage. We're gonna talk some sponsorship, some of the rodeo kind
Production side of things.
Yeah,
it'd be good. Give people an inside look of how a rodeo happens.
Yeah.
What it takes to make a rodeo happen.
exactly. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll get her going here. So our first guest today, he's the president of the Ponoka Stampede. Stampede.
Ponoka Stampede.
Jason Cline, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, and so now we have we had to welcome our Canadians first.
Come on, boys. Come on.
Right through the shot.
Mind
Come
the
on.
camera.
Come on,
boys.
guys.
Come on.
Come on. Jeez. So for those over on the stage left side, our bull riders and tie-down ropers signing autographs on the left side of
The stage.
the stage. Yeah. Let's get your autographs over there and then come check out the show after that. But our next guest, he's all the way from. I was trying to get into the international side of things because our next two guests come with us all the way from America,
The U.S. of A.
the U.S. of A.
They're
So
Q born in the USA.
yeah. Oh no, sorry, we're not going to get that one. Damn. Too little, too late. We didn't recognize. We didn't tell Duncan early enough. Sorry, man. Anyways, he's our friend from SweetPro Feeds, Erick Thornberg. Welcome to the show.
Hey. The crowd goes wild.
So Erick actually brought a couple sweet PBR. Who do you got there, Erick? Who'd you bring with you?
I've got some bobbleheads here for those two lucky fans over there in the face paint.
Nice.
Which bull? Which bull is it? Bruiser
This is Sweet Pro's Bruiser, 3-time champion.
of the world.
Not a big deal.
Come get your prizes, girls. We got
Come
got a
on
couple
up.
sweet bobbleheads for you. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Don't throw them.
Can you catch? Here you go.
Nice.
Outstanding.
What a way to start it off.
Thanks, Erick.
Nice.
Awesome. And our third guest comes to us all the way from Georgia, part of the Wrangler Network. Now with Wrangler, the brand directly. He's my friend, David Sharp.
He's my friend too, man.
Yeah, he's also Storm's friend.
He's exclusively your friend. He's not allowed to be anybody else.
He's my friend too. Okay, thanks everybody for being here today.
Yeah.
David, it's been quite the trip. You left on what, Tuesday, and you just got here today?
Not quite, but close. I got here last night through a roundabout way of. Had to stay in Calgary because I couldn't get up here. The drive was kind of rank on Wednesday, as you guys know.
We were glad that we left Tuesday because it was nasty. That's about as bad as it gets, isn't it, Jason?
It is, yeah. It doesn't get much worse.
It's almost North Dakota bad.
Agreed. Agreed. That's Winnipeg weather for you right there.
Did you have some regrets flying in, David, seeing all the snow on the ground?
Did I what?
Have some regrets flying in?
No. It was good. I got stuck. You have airplane problems, mechanical, so that started it. And then I hung out in DFW for like 12 hours and then got Calgary at midnight, and then they lost my bag. So it was just a progressive
One thing after
thing.
another.
And they lost it. They just like, was it losing or did they just like misplace it from you? Because it was like on a different carousel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
It's
a
trickery.
it's a bit of a Where's Waldo day.
David, let's get right into things here. You brought there's this thing that you've had to have with you for the last what, like 6 months, maybe even longer, maybe 8 or 9 months now. Is that a challenge? All year?
Yeah, it's been a while. I've had to haul this thing around. Everybody goes like, "Why are you wearing a backpack everywhere you go?"
Why do you have a man purse with you?
Smallest
everywhere you go?
backpack ever.
You're gonna expose me. So the quick version. Hang on. Wrangler's 75th anniversary. So Montana has partnered with us, and this thing actually has 75 real diamonds in it. We're gonna end up. Yeah, we're gonna end up auctioning off to a couple of charities as we roll into January, celebrating the rest of the year. So it's exciting.
The Montana made it. It's worth like what, like $40,000 or something crazy? Like
That's
I
correct.
can't say it
That's
too
correct.
loud, but
That's correct. I
yeah.
actually, I trust them, but I wanted to know what the diamonds were, so I asked somebody that knows about diamonds, and they were like, "Yeah, this is legit. If I'm making a bracelet out of it, US 20 grand in diamonds." So
Really?
wow, yeah. So
Holy
the rest
smokes.
of it, you know how much it takes to make a buckle. It's pretty remarkable.
And you're gonna auction it off, and for which charities again? What was the
We're
story?
gonna give now Western Sports Foundation and Lead Changes. Both of them. The concept is as we celebrate our 75th anniversary is to sow into the next 75 years. So that's kind of the concept. People that speak into stuff like that. Lead Western Sports Foundation, you know what that is. But Lead Change is an organization that takes people that are not familiar, that come from inner cities or areas that would never get to be involved in the Western lifestyle, and they bring them out. Could be any level of different hardships or travesties in their lives, and bring them out. They don't boast about it. They don't post pictures of these kids. Most of them are kids, and they bring them out and let them come up to Wyoming and spend some time on the ranch just to rehab the back of the horse concept.
Nice. Jason, let's get into the rodeo this year. It was a big year for rodeo all across the country. Record crowds all over the place. As we know, the last couple of years has been tough on rodeo.
2 years without a rodeo.
2 years without a rodeo, and talk a bit about how this year went and how awesome it was. I never got to make it up there this year, but Ted said it was an absolute banger. So
it was. It was massive, and like I said, 2 years without rodeo. And not just Ponoka, but I think rodeo in general just exploded, right? I was saying earlier here and talking to somebody in the crowd that our average attendance in Ponoka over the 7 days, we're looking at about 75 to 85,000 people. This year we were well over 100,000.
Wow,
right? And it's biggest concern, I think, not just Canadian rodeo, but rodeo in general, was after 2 years, are there going to be enough contestants? Are there going to be enough fans, right? And it was amazing. So you see shoots full, you see the stands full, sponsors everywhere, and I think as a community, the Western community, the rodeo community, really came back together, right? And came back together with a vengeance, and it was fantastic.
We almost had too much content at times. We were kind of filling and making sure we had enough stuff, and then there was a ton of stuff to do. It ended up being way better show kind of thing than we expected to, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was. You watch and you see guys carrying 4 beer cans at a time, right? And they used to, in the old days, they'd set them down to have a fight, right? Now they'd set them down just to shake hands with their neighbors. I mean, it was pretty good.
Haven't seen anybody in too long.
Exactly.
Well, and for those who may watch this back later or don't know, Ponoka's not the biggest of communities. How did the small communities and the smaller committees stay together during these 2 years without rodeo?
Well, I mean, it was tough. And again, like we went, 2 years, and prior to that 2 years, we just built a brand new facility with, super suites and all kinds of stuff, did a lot of investment. For us, long history and, good track record of taking care of ourselves, we're okay. But, the smaller communities, especially, we look at Ponoka, so much comes out of that rodeo that goes back into the community, right? And, you really seen that in the 2 years, we're not being able to give back. Really, it hurt a lot of groups. And, the smaller the communities, I think the bigger that impact was.
Have either of you guys been to Ponoka? Eric, no?
Yep.
David, you have, or
I have not.
Tim and Sam have done that one?
Stu, we always
Yeah.
streamed it, but yeah.
Yeah. But so for you guys that don't know this, Ponoka's a town of like what, 5,000-6,000 people?
About 6,500 people. Yep.
So 110,000 people come to this rodeo in a town of 6,000 people.
A lot of people.
Yeah. I don't know how big your guys' hometowns are, but
900 people.
900. David, how big were you?
We're bigger than that. We're in the thousands, but yeah, it's a good sized town.
To imagine having that at
600.
600, yeah. Be like having, yeah, it's pretty impressive what they do in Ponoka. So,
Well, and Eric, I mean, we pose the same question to you from a sponsor and like feed standpoint. Did you notice kind of a drop off or a dip throughout the 2 years without rodeo or Western sports going?
We didn't really see too much of a drop in sales or anything, but we noticed a drop in enthusiasm of just like life and culture around. So it's nice to have it back. That's for sure.
you guys have been involved for probably, how long has it been on the PBR side between the Buck and Bulls? Bruiser, like it's probably been about 10 years that I remember right now, but it's probably way longer.
Yeah. So the pages, Dylan and HD had been using our products for probably about 10 years, and they had a really bad conception rate. It was probably about a 63% conception rate, and it was the worst that they had ever had, actually. And so our guy Ronnie Glover in Oklahoma actually went up and he just said, I want you to try these tubs. And he's like, Ronnie, I've tried these tubs all over the place. No way.
And he's the sales rep there?
He's our sales rep in Oklahoma, but just really good friends. And he basically, Dylan went on a big long rodeo tour out the east, and Ronnie came over, dropped tubs off, and he said, hey, I want you to feed these every 10 days. And when he came back, he could see a difference in his cows. And he was like, all right, next year, conception rates go up to about 93. You know how much those animals can go for on those sales and everything. And we pulled the trigger on a sponsorship with SweetPro's Long John, ended up winning the world. And then I was just watching Bruiser right behind him, and I was like, we need to get our name on that bull too.
Well, how much did that help your guys' brand for being tagged on those world champion bulls? I mean, probably has skyrocketed you guys' reputation within the community.
Well, I tell you what, it's pretty nice to be able to walk up to someone versus, and say, hi, I'm with SweetPro. And they're like, oh, hi, I've heard of that. Versus like, hi, would you like to hear about SweetPro? No? Oh, okay. Thanks. So it helps a lot.
I take it you don't have the same problem, David, on the Wrangler side.
It is interesting. Yeah. Even here, I feel like, I got to tell you, coming through customs, I had some stuff, and the guy was like, what is this stuff you're bringing in? And I'm telling him, and he goes, I think I've heard of Wrangler. Because, but I wasn't prepared for that. He said, keep up the good work. Get on through.
David, one thing I wanted to ask you about is, even throughout the pandemic, the consumption of how people watch sports, watch events, and consume media has changed a lot from the longer form stuff moving into more of the short form stuff. How has that affected your guys' work with the Wrangler Network and how you guys approach distributing your content?
We started, immediately. Obviously, everybody knows when it happened, it was like there was a wall. And so we started going creative, like what could we do to do other things? And, the truth is, a lot of great videos from Ponoka. We started repurposing content, which, there was a general gnashing of teeth for content. But we also coming up with creative thing. We have a basketball tournament in the States, March Madness around that. So we came up with April Dadness. We had people telling dad jokes, which, by the way, came down to two legends, J.B. Mooney and Cotton Rosser at the final to tell a dad joke. So it was good to watch some of that stuff. But as you mentioned, and you hit on it, the short form content became king then, to do things to get people, because everybody was sitting around going, what to watch, just scrolling through their phones. So we were trying to find something to stop the scroll, and that's how we kind of tackled it.
Do you remember what the dad off joke ended up being? The championship match?
I need to look that up. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. They were so good, though. It was good watching. It's still there. You can archive it and watch it on.
Go back and watch it.
Were you part of that, the dad off?
Yeah, me and Matt Merritt pretty much did it, and as you know, Stu, he produced it behind the scenes, and we just.
Did you enter though? I feel like you got.
No. We were the host, and we'd enter it and bring everybody together. So it started out just like you would imagine, with a Sweet 16. We had a bracket system, and they'd tell jokes, and every day they'd go together, and we put PBR against PRCA guys telling dad jokes, and ironically, Flint went out the first round. It was kind of interesting.
You tried too hard. That's what it was. He was trying too hard.
Oh boy. Well, one thing too that's been really successful for you guys, and what we followed, has been the auxiliary things around the rodeo rather than just the rodeo content alone. How much has that again helped kind of move what you guys need to get out there?
I think that's a great question, because rodeo content, we all make our bread and butter off of the bucking horses and the steer wrestling, barrel racing, but ultimately the diehards get that, the people in our inner circle. But if you want to draw them in, for us, it was, it was Ridge Flundra with his pony. It was some Tomas Garcia Lazo doing trick rope. And It was all these acts and other things that gave us entertainment value that people went, I didn't know this. I thought it was just doing something with animals and roping, but they realized the theatrics and the production of what everybody does that pulls these together. And then we could teach them about Ponoka shootout. We could teach them about the other things, the 100,000 at Calgary once we got through that. But we had to get them in there with a hook, and that was the way to do it for a lot of people that had no experience with rodeo, was to show them something that was a little bit closer to what they could comprehend.
So we have David Sharp with Wrangler here, Erick Thornberg with SweetPro, and Jason Cline on the Ponoka Stampede side. You're trying to attract the sponsors. What have you seen that have been some key wins for you all in the last I want to say 5 years or so that you've been, maybe longer, that you've been involved with the Stampede? But what are you doing to attract the sponsors on this side, and what are the most valuable pieces you're providing to keep these people engaged and bring more fans into the sport? What are you doing on that side?
And keep your sponsors coming back too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's the big one. And you know, really, you got those two key elements you hit on, right? Number one, you got your fans. Number two, you get your sponsors, right? And you know, in the old days, if you will, right, you run out, you get $1,500 or $15,000 from a sponsor, you hang their banner on the fence, you call it a day, right? But it's evolved so much in the last 5 years, right? And you know, it's individual by sponsor. I mean, some sponsors like to have a suite, as an example, right? And they like to entertain and wine and dine. Some aren't that way, right? Some don't want their names out, you know, in certain areas, things like that. So it's really about the package you can offer a sponsor, right? And customizing it for that person, right? Because they have needs, they have wants, these guys will get, I don't know how many thousand a year, people looking for money, right? So what can you do different to give them a good experience or great experience that they can give their consumers or their customers a great experience, right? Because ultimately, if they give me $25,000, they got to sell $25,000 somehow, right?
Or 50.
Or 50, right? Exactly. So, you know, that's really what we're looking at, is how do we not only attract new sponsors, but how do we look after the ones we have? How do we give them a great experience, right? So that they keep coming back and they'll bring more with them. So,
and what have you all been doing to ensure these pieces have been fulfilled? I know one big part of it was building another entire bleacher of suites that was, I don't know if like a $5 million or more building or more. Yeah, maybe 10. I don't know what it is, but it's a ton of money in just one building of suites. You already had the one set of suites in the old Buck and Shoot grandstand.
Yep.
Maybe not old. That's probably the newest one before that. But then you had also have the suites on the Time event side as well. So
yep,
there's still room to grow, but that was a huge commitment to do, to open up 1 year before COVID hit. And then you had to carry the loan over for 2 years of no events. But suites is a huge thing for Ponoka. But tell me more about what else.
Well, I mean, and you experienced it this summer, right? And we tried some new things, because there's the rodeo, there's the what we call inside the fence, right? And you got your rodeo arena, whether we got rodeo going on or chuck wagons or PBR or kids events or whatever it might be. But there's everything else outside the fence, right? And what can we do for sponsors? You know, we had some sponsors on the outside of the fence this year, right? In the carnivals and the midways and art shows and restaurants and things like that. All right, so it's really about showing or selling that whole package, right? And making sure that, again, everybody has a great experience. And, you know, not everybody wants to come see a rodeo, right? Honestly, right? But they want to maybe bring their kids or bring their family or mom and dad or whatever it might be and have an experience through the day, right? And that's really one thing we focused on this year, was come in the morning and stay till late at night, right? And that goes to your fans and your sponsors as well.
Well, and David, as Jason mentioned, you have thousands of people reaching out to you guys for sponsorship, endorsement, all that kind of stuff. What are some of the key things you look for before you choose who you support, whether it be a rodeo event or an athlete?
I mean, obviously, rodeo events are all the things you can imagine. It's the experience. You want it to be something like that. But obviously, there's crowds and numbers always play into that. But for us, it's really selling jeans. So we want good exposure, something you can put your name on that just doesn't have massive crowds, but portray something positive about the Western lifestyle, the family aspect of it. Because look, I mean, when we were all apart, everybody realized real quickly, I'm not going to waste, if and when we get back together, I'm not going to waste that opportunity for community. And community spoke volumes. So we look at these events and go, who's really building community and doing things that just aren't rodeo, but have ancillary things that can cultivate somebody wanting to be a part of the culture and wear denim. And as far as athletes, you know, yeah, I want them good in the arena, but there's a there's a real facet of what they're doing outside. I mean, are they talking to people? Are they delivering things? Are they volunteering? I know that sounds.
Are they making TikTok videos?
Yeah.
Dancing?
Wacey's still on the don't ask list. I'm kidding. His TikTok videos got me nervous. I'm kidding.
Coming from the guy that makes them with the buffalo coat.
Yeah, come on, man. We seen you doing this.
True
stuff.
story. True story. But I'm already in. So, but yeah, that's the truth of it. I mean, it's really because I look at these athletes, and I mean, there's a couple of things that I realize. I'd ask them all the time. I said, would you do this? Would you really do this? Be a part of Wrangler for free? Because I honestly probably will never be able to pay you what I think you're worth, because you have great worth, and I don't know that I can ever get there. And because in the arena is kind of their platform, even though for years we were raised on watching everybody wear brands in the arena. But now that's their platform. Everything else is kind of ours. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Could pose the same question to you, Eric. What are you guys looking for, even when it comes to choosing to attend a certain trade show and stuff? Because even with the CFR, it may not be the best fit for a feed company too.
Well, I guess off the top of my head, the thing that we kind of look at the most is, one, do you use the product? Like, are you actually using the product? Do you know it? Do you believe in it? Are you respected in the community? But yeah, that's kind of what we look for. And then partnerships, value-added partnerships with you guys, for instance.
Oh yeah, like the T-shirt. What a T-shirt this is. For those,
look at that.
For those that don't know,
look at there.
we've been working with Eric for a few months now.
Oh, much better. Thanks, guys. I can finally breathe.
Well, and then I guess the second part to that question, people in the cattle industry tend to be very set in their ways, and when you're trying to get into a new market or attract new customers, how do you have to do that to get people to change what they're already doing? Because if it's kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing in the cattle industry.
Well, for us, so SweetPro is my dad's company. I never thought I was going to work for the man, and I just came up and took the Canadian account, and I was like, let's do this. So their livelihood is my livelihood. So I need their programs to be successful. And I think we bring that to the table. I think we bring that to the table. And it's always easy to take something where a program's a little bit off and make that good. It takes a little bit more time to make a good program just that much better. But that's what we do.
What have been some of the biggest successes you've seen up here so far? It's been how long have you guys been up this way? And how long? Because you're personally going to all the accounts now. Are you all of Western Canada or all of Canada altogether? You're on the road most of the time,
making the miles.
Yeah, so it's on. They're kilometers up here, but yeah, we've been on the road. Yeah, so all of Canada. But I think the biggest home run we hit was picking up the Calgary Stampede as a customer. That one's pretty special for us.
And that's the ranch, Tyler Craft, and all the bucking horses now.
Yep, met them through Chad Bestplug. So
Tyler Craft's eating SweetPro?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Look at that. CFR, NFR pickup man now.
It works.
That explains a lot.
Tell us more about what goes into it, though, because it's something kind of the formula kind of it's proprietary partially. But
our biggest thing is Our biggest thing is no starch, sugar, or molasses. We really key on feeding the microbial population of the animal. Basically, using just rough cowboy math, 1 pound of SweetPro replaces about 13 pounds of hay or forage for an average 1,600 pound mother cow, and then herd health goes up. So that's basically what we bring to the table. So value added that side, and then our horse side, we've got our Equipride and our Equilix, and again, no starch, sugar, molasses. We're just kind of on the grow, and then we're really good at hoof growth, hair coat, colic issues, and then after that, it's just muscling up.
I gotta say, it looked like it worked really well for Darcy Flad this year as far as things went for Darcy. That was new for him, right? And then goes and has a wicked run in Calgary. Gets in a bit of trouble later on at the Stampede, I think.
Round 9.
Yeah, right? Round 9, yeah.
Broke a tug strap and took him out. But he was sitting third. All he had to do, so he
clean run.
Building up.
That's all he needed.
Clean run, and he was going to be running for a championship. And I was like, well, let's go.
Could have been what could have been his best finish ever at Calgary, I think. But he also had a really great season as far as I remember. And this is year 1 for him with the Equipride and Equilix products.
For those that have not met Darcy yet, that boy is a tough cookie to crack. So enough not to crack. I just convinced him hey, I think this is what you want to do with your program. And he's like, no, that's not what But we got him there, and then like his horses ran great.
Excellent season, yeah.
Jason, as Ted mentioned earlier in the show, we've done a lot of these over the years and had a lot of contestants come up from both Canada and the U.S.
Right.
And every time we ask them like what their favorite event is, they say the Ponoka Stampede. So I want to know from your perspective, what makes Ponoka the premier event or the one that everybody wants to go to, or why it's top of the list for most contestants?
Well, number one, it's money. You know, honestly, I mean, it's the largest rodeo in Canada, you know, pay-wise.
And it counts.
And it counts, yeah. And that's the biggest one. It counts, yeah. Exactly. I think it's just, we started in 1936. Obviously, I wasn't around then, but started in 1936, and the traditions that we have created over the years we've kept, right? And it's a real balancing act between. I mean, you look at the athletes today. They're high tech. It's a living, right? So keeping that tradition of rodeo alive, keeping the tradition of what we've done over those years alive, but then being able to work into the future of where rodeo is going, right? I think we've had great success with that. Being open-minded, trying new things, not being scared to try new things.
Hiring
Try to be a leader.
Ted.
Right, Ted? Yeah, hiring Ted. Yeah, well,
That was a mistake.
that was a mistake. But hey, it got me up on stage today, didn't it?
It worked out all right. Well, and you guys also reworked the PBR back into the event, which is
Yes.
both times you've had it in the last 2 years have been bangers of events, or last couple times you've had it.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about that decision and how it's helped add to the show.
Yeah, so I mean, the PBR brings its own crowd, right? To a point. So years ago we tried PBRs, either usually 2-3 nights before the rodeo started, with very limited success, right? So through COVID and all that stuff we all endured, we held a chuck wagon event back in September 21, and we thought, well, let's put a PBR in it, right? And it was just like, it was a great day because it was that morning, as a president, I got an email from the premier saying that unfortunately you guys are going to be shut down because as of 8 o'clock in the morning, no more drinking, and no more bars are open, no more this. We're going back to lockdown, and then we got an exception as a special outdoor event. So we're the only
Thankfully.
place in Alberta that night
That you could have a beer
you could drink
with
beer.
someone else legally.
But then we brought the PBR back again this year with the rodeo, and it just fits so well, right? And it's a different crowd. We finish our chuck wagons up at 8:30 at night. We get the arena ready, we get the lights up, we reload the crowd, and it's fantastic.
Get the pyro set.
Yep.
It's a
Get it
cool
going.
transition too to go from the rodeo and like you mentioned, the really traditional side of the way the rodeo fits, to go to the PBR and you got pyro blowing up, and we crank the music up even louder, and it's a bit of a different show that way, and it's a fun.
It's
fun
been cool to see rodeos
transition.
incorporate that, like Armstrong did it this year too, and it's a nice way to kind of like tie both together when it seems there's been a lot of like tension between both rodeo and
Yeah,
PBR
maybe.
over the years. David, you're no stranger to rodeo production. You've been around it for a long time. Kind of alluding to something you were talking about with like having to cater to the traditional side and kind of the newer age of rodeo fan, the higher
And the
end
new
stuff.
fan.
Yeah,
or the not
new-
fan that
new
you want to turn into a fan.
Yeah, how do you walk the line and find that balancing act between having a product that caters to the traditional fans, but also trying to bring in and entertain the new fans?
Well, I think that's also regional and community. You have to look at it because it's not everything, as you know, the city rodeos are a little different than the ones that are out in rural areas. But man, you're right. And even for when I was running Extreme Bulls, there were some events where we did pyro and stuff, but there were some like Cody, Wyoming. We didn't, we brought a big fire truck in and raised an American flag and did stuff that was a lot different. No pyro involved, and some of the openings were much more gratifying without the pyro, right? So again, it's really it's not any different than sales. You have to read your customer a little bit and your consumer and your fan base, but you also have to. You play music, so you can't just play country music and Happy Trails the whole time, but you can't pound them with Metallica the whole time either. So it's the same scenario. It's got to be a SweetPro balance in the whole thing, to a sweet professional balance.
Trademark.
That's why I'm rocking these Wranglers right now.
There you go. Long live SweetPro. So, but that's what you got to do, is just find that balance and really listen to your consumer and not go, look, I like raspberry chipotle, and that's what I'm going to have on my shelves. No
Coming
matter
from the
what
food
they,
guy.
no matter what they like, right? No, because it's like, you can't just go, this is what I like, and live with, especially music guys. I see music guys learn and they go, I really like this song, but that doesn't always cater to everybody else. So you have to really select it. No different in production. You have to do what everybody else is liking and be aware of the nuance, just like y'all do with music. What's different, what's cute, what's fun. TikTok man knows the game.
Love the game, baby.
Talk about the new role too, David. This is something that you took on in the last, is it 6 months kind of thing?
Not even really. So it was really June. I started at the PBR finals in Texas. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. I wasn't really planning on Canada and some of the other things, so it kind of evolved into that, taking over a lot more stuff. And we're still, I'd like to say that COVID is over, but there's still the lingering effects of the supply chain. As you know, you order stuff, so that's been a hurdle. I get a lot of challenges with that. And then in I don't know how it is here, but in the States, we're still battling labor coming back. So trying to get things embroidered or do work or transport stuff, there's a lot of hurdles, but the job is so gratifying and fun because, and for me, I'm on a side that I've never been where, I'm not telling everybody and pitching them like he said, who I am, can I get in? People are going, oh, Wrangler, okay, that's pretty interesting. So it's fun from that standpoint, but man, for me, it's really about people and connecting. I mean, you know this, Ted. You and I have sat around and talked a lot of times over the years, and getting to know people, understanding their struggles and their challenges. And well, I spent a lot of time with my wife would tell you probably 14, 16 hours a day on the phone, but I spent a lot of time with a lot of challenges, not just from supply chain, but supply chain in people's life and heart and what's going on with their family and their rodeo career through injuries. So it's almost like a little bit of a high school counselor meets, inspirational gene salesman at the same time. So,
how did it work for Wrangler, the brand, over the 2 years where there were no events? What did you see on the side of the endorsees and that side of things, or in your experience now with a couple of years off? Because we as athletes in that business don't have as much to offer in that time off, but a lot of the sponsors still stuck through the whole way.
Wrangler did, because I was on the network side and they asked us to do some things different, but the Cowboys and Cowgirls, they really couldn't. Now, you guys had a lot of people that just came south, and because we didn't totally shut down in rodeo, it was very limited and crowds were limited, as you know. But man, people really stepped their game up. There was a lot of people that said, all right, I give. I'm going to do Instagram. I may have had Facebook, but I'm going to do something different. And it became showing themselves doing hay or around the farm or whatever it was. So people learned to expand their exposure, and it was really fun to watch. But it's not a bad thing. I think everybody learned something from this whole COVID thing. As sad as it was to be in the middle of it, when you were in there, you started going, maybe we weren't doing everything to the max, right? And now we're going to capitalize on that.
And Jason, for not having events for 2 years, what was that like for you guys to plan one, cancel it, plan one, cancel it, plan one, have it, then get shut down middle of the event, but get an exception, still have one, and then come back the next year and not know until about March that we were going to be able to even have one this year?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is, in any event, it takes a whole full year to plan it, right? And so we start, basically we finish up, July 2nd or whatever night it might happen to be, and we have a meeting right then. And then we start, and then depending how heated the whole Stampede's been, we might separate for a few weeks. But after that, we get right back at it, start, working, kind of every month and every second week and then every week as we go through. And so you put a lot of time into it, and you make your plans and you sign contracts and you do all these things. And, for 2 years, it's like, we'll sign this contract pending, right? We'll sign this pending. And that's tough. And it's tough on your suppliers. It's tough on your sponsors. It's tough on everybody. And the other thing is, to fire up what we call fire our plant up, or, get our grounds going. It's, it's about a $300,000 deal just to get everything up and running, right? So you're just about ready to, kind of hit the light switch and get her going. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, stop again, right? And, we're a group of 15 directors, right? I got myself and 14 other directors. And you want to see grown men cry, honestly. You're just, that day you got to, stick it out there on Facebook or whatever that we're not going, right? It's a tough day. So.
We recently had a podcast episode where we ranked the top 10 barrel racers from Canada, and a discussion that came up was the ground. And I wanted to ask you as a committee member, like, how much of a juggling act or balancing act, or how hard is it to make sure the ground is good enough for your wagons and then for your rodeo performance and all that kind of stuff? It's a topic that comes up a lot in stuff we do. It'd be cool to hear from your perspective.
Came up yesterday too at the committee meetings as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and actually, there was a lot of positive came out of that meeting yesterday. The general consensus yesterday was a lot of the barrel racers now don't look at it as good ground or bad ground, but they look at it as ground condition, right? Because we're outdoor. It can rain 3 inches or it won't rain for 3 days, all right? And you can put water on it, you can't take water off. And you got the wagons going around. You got barrel racers, running their pattern. You got bulldoggers sliding through it, right? And it's a tough deal. And we're real fortunate. We have one of our board members, Bruce Harbin, does a fantastic job with the ground. But it's a balancing act. And the other thing is you can never make everybody happy, right? Just the way it is, right?
Never gonna happen.
It surprised me too. So,
well, and to that point, like how as a committee person do you deal with the even from a fan standpoint, like Teddy and I as sound guys, we get all the complaints. Oh, it's not loud enough, or it's too loud, or
it's way too loud.
Or this song. Like I was at a committee meeting this year where I had 2 different committee members come up to me like, "Hey, it was a little loud last night," and then another one comes like, "Hey, can you turn it up compared to last night?" And so I don't know how do you do it?
Well, I give a lot of Ted's cards out. Number one,
you guys any complaints? To give here's a suggestion box.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just pin them in the washrooms. They're just like, yeah, music too loud, phone this guy. No, just kidding. But no, you can't please everybody, right? And you never will. So in the past we've had, okay, well tonight we're going to turn it down and we're going to have an older act or something, and then we'll kind of keep it down. But then tomorrow night we're going to light it up, and so now we've just kind of been, light it up every night.
May as well, I guess. No. Well, I guess one more thing too is something we've noticed, or I've noticed in all the committee meetings and things I've been part of over the past few years is recruiting new people to join the committees, and it's that there's not the turnover isn't what it used to be, and recruiting young people to be part of to volunteer their time to work on a rodeo committee is a hard thing to sell to somebody. So how do you or some other committees you've seen approach the recruiting process?
It's tough. A comment was made yesterday in the CPRA meetings that you want somebody on your board that's been a cowboy, and that's important, right? And you have to have a really good balance. So you need somebody that's been there, understands it, whether it's a bronc rider or a wagon driver or what it might be. But you also need people with business sense, right? You need people that understand how to make budgets and make plans and sign contracts and do those things.
Even have contracts.
Yeah, exactly. Even have contracts. Yeah. You should see Ted's, by the way. It's pretty good.
I made it up.
But it's, you have to have a good balance, right? We're fortunate. We've got generations of guys. Yeah. So we're fortunate that way. But there's less and less people that want to commit their time to anything, and not just rodeo committees, to any type of committee, right? It's getting tough.
Well, and it's a volunteer position. You gotta have time, and there's gotta be a why. Like, what's the why?
Well, it's and it's different for everybody, right? You got ex bronc riders that just want to stay in the sport, want to be involved and give back. You've got guys that just want to people, I should say, that just want to give back to community, right? You've got people that maybe they were sentenced for something they should have done. Whatever, but that's Ted's contract. So.
One more thing though, I want to talk, Eric. We talk about the CFR, and then Wacey brought up the barrel racing side of things, and I haven't heard much. I maybe need to ask more questions here, but where are you at with the Equipride and Equilix and the barrel racing side of things? We're gonna see
some recruiting this week.
Yeah, are we gonna see some barrel racing horses like SweetPro's, Hot Donna? Is that gonna be what's next that way? Is that the next forte with SweetPro?
I'm sorry, did you say a Hot Donna?
That's one of the horse names. She always be horse of the year. Hot Donna.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Possibly. We're gonna take baby steps up as we go along, but I think what we're gonna do is focus on those ropers. Lady ropers, I think that's going to be a big thing for
breakaways
next year.
Yep. I see. Awesome.
Well, I guess one more question for each of them. It's kind of for all you guys. Like, as we head into the last few perfs of the CFR, what are you guys looking most forward to checking out or seeing? Some matchups, some events, certain people.
Yeah, well, I guess for Ponoka,
aside from being on the show.
Well, yeah, this is the highlight. Right? Selfishly for Ponoka. Our queen, Mackenzie Skeels, Miss Ponoka Stampede, is up for Miss Rodeo Canada tonight. And for myself personally, that's why I'm here today, is hopefully we
pulling for Team Ponoka. Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Eric, what are you looking most forward to for the rest of the weekend?
I guess, honestly, just surviving.
Must be good.
Just
getting emotional.
You can't talk about it.
This one.
And David, this is your first time up here to the Canadian Finals. What do you think of the perf last night? What are your thoughts? And
Well, I don't know what
Anyways.
I know David's highlight is seeing me, so we don't really need
True.
to go too far.
his day's complete.
I didn't even know this was coming. This attire.
We should have told you
Remind
about
me what's
retro
this for? Yeah, I didn't know.
Vintage night. So we
Vintage
planned,
night.
We planned some themes for each night of the CFR. If you would follow our social media, you'd see that. I've been posting about it. But yeah, tonight is our vintage night.
Just you guys. It's not a
No,
Canada
the
thing.
CFR. So
Okay,
aside from the Cowboy Shit stuff, I also manage
Okay,
the
well then,
CFR social media.
I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these outfits tonight. It should be good, right?
Hopefully people take part in it. There's a
Yeah.
few folks out there.
I thought it was really good. I mean, honestly, I had no idea what to expect coming in here, and I know I'd heard all this story about Edmonton and moving here, so but I mean, anytime you're in an intimate building like this and you've got the caliber athletes, I thought the steer wrestling obviously was lights out last night. Really liked watching the Bronx as always. I really like this kid Ben Anderson. I've met him only once at Cheyenne, but man, what
He's
a
a good
great
kid.
kid! I
Yeah.
love this guy. So
Mhm.
really fun to do that. And I have not got to. You got to remember, I've not met. I've talked to a lot of the endorsees. Never seen them in my life, so I don't know a lot of them at all. Even though I've talked to them on the phone or text or whatever. So I'm probably most excited is just connecting with people. I've done that through a few committees. So that's the whole reason for me to be here is just put a name with a face and shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye instead of on the phone, right?
Or text message or email or whatnot.
There's a lot of stuff like that,
Well, thanks for being here, David. We're glad to have you. Again, thanks for joining us on the show this afternoon. Eric, same to you as well. Thanks for being here. And Jason, thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Best of luck to Mackenzie this evening, too.
Yeah, you betcha.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. This has been Cowboy Shit Live.
Got a head full of noise, about 100 different things I'm trying to avoid. I got a mind in the gutter, the trouble on one hand, a beer in the other. Got the windows down and my fingers crossed, just looking for a brand new way to get lost. So long, four wheels turning, got a tank full of gas down the road I'm burning. Can't say a word and I can't say a word, and if I don't come back,
Wacey, got to get back
Couldn't
to
do it without
beers
you.
and getting in the hot tub. So let's wrap this thing up. We thanks again to
That's
Jason Cline, David Sharp, and Erick Thornberg for being on the show this week. I guess
was awesome.
involuntarily. We just
Involuntarily,
didn't really
yeah,
tell
they
them, but here
don't
we are.
know. Yeah, they had to. But that was a really fun interview. Some of the stuff that we talked about with Jason and David, and even Eric had some really cool insights. Like there were some really interesting topics covered throughout that. So if you're
What exactly did we cover, Wacey?
I remember talking to David about the sponsorship and like what because like he's the new endorsee guy for Wrangler now too.
Yeah.
So talking about how they look for endorsees in the new digital age and how social media plays a big part of that. And I think we also talked to Jason about what makes the Ponoka Stampede, which I thought was a really cool topic. So some cool conversations in that interview.
And then for those that don't know what was going on, Eric actually had a Cowboy Shit t-shirt on underneath of his other stuff. So that might have not have projected well to the radio podcast audience. So if you're wondering
I'll
what was
repost
going
the
on
clip
there,
on social for everybody.
yeah, if you're wondering what was going on there, Eric was showing everybody how partnerships work, because we partnered with Eric and SweetPro and EquiPride Equilix this summer.
Mhm.
And then then he was wearing one of our shirts. But man, speaking of sponsors, we got to talk about some more about Range Fuel. How good was that Range Fuel Jerky?
Dude, that was a top 5 snack I've had in my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So good.
next time I see it on the road, I'm buying like 10 packs and I'm just gonna stash it in my vehicle
Oh,
for
it's so good, dude.
road trip snackaroonies.
It's a nice delivery too, because it's like a pepperoni stick.
Yeah, it's a pepperoni stick, but it's jerky. It's like
Mm-hmm.
so magnificent. I'm excited
Yeah.
to get back into it.
I'm a big fan.
What is that
Big
over
fan.
there? Is that a birthday pillow or something?
It's Jen.
Oh, hey Jen. Whose birthday was it?
There was 2 birthdays celebrated this weekend.
Oh,
Amanda's
dang.
and then our other buddy Brandon. It's
I
actually
just-
his birthday today.
I just saw this little birthday hat. I was like, what's going on over there?
He's poking at us right here.
Hi,
Yeah, she's
Jen.
just chilling.
Oh,
Tess
big
herself.
big shout out to Jen and spreadsheets.
He's giving you a spreadsheet shout out.
Yeah,
Okay.
appreciate the spreadsheet help. Big help there.
She knows her way around one.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Okay, man, I got a story for you from last night. So, you're away, but I went down to Sean O'Brien's
Oh,
birthday
nice.
party. So
Yeah.
we met Sean with Corb in Vegas. Not this NFR, but the
Couple
last
years
one,
ago
like
now.
2021.
Mhm.
And so Sean's the travel manager for the Calgary Flames, and what he does some cool shit. So and Brandon Tommy knows him from when he worked for the Abbotsford Heat. But anyways, it was 50th birthday last night, so I went down to meet him at the Revival Brewcade in Inglewood.
Cool spot, hey?
Yeah, it was really cool, man. Me and Brandon Parker were playing some fucking shoot 'em up game. Like they had a bunch of coins and we were
They
like
have like
playing this.
Nintendos and stuff down there, don't they?
Yeah, cruising the world. Like I didn't play any Nintendos, but there's pinball machines. But like, yeah, Brendan Parker, like the Flames, Brendan, like he did the Stampede broadcast for Sportsnet this year as well. And yeah, super nice guy. We got hooked up when he was working with Global Lethbridge. But anyways, yeah, I had a lot of good conversations. Sean Kelso too. I met at the at Valley Ridge Golf Course with another guy, Jason Johnson or
Jason Johnston.
Jason Johnson.
Jason. He's a sales manager for the Flames, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, and then Kelso's the PR man. But anyways, like really cool group of like crew there. Sean was wearing his Cowboy Shit hat. It was awesome. We were talking about how we could get Daryl Sutter to be a Cowboy Shit endorsee of some sort, but we didn't think that we could get away with it. But
find a way.
We don't know. But
that's
what
awesome.
we're trying to get at is that I parked my truck. I went down there and I just kind of panic parked and parked like at this car dealership, like the one on 9th Ave right across from Squabos. Yeah. So I was like, it's 8:00. I'm only gonna be here for like an hour. I'm just coming in to like drop in and say hi quick. So go in, have a beer, don't think much of it. I'm like, it's probably the truck's probably fine there, right? Like, and like Inglewood's not very big, so there's not many places that you can really put that big ass truck of mine now. So I just kind of like panic parked and put it there and was like, yeah, it's probably fine. And then sure enough, I go outside and go across the street. And I already felt kind of weird. Like I was like, it's probably wasn't the best idea to park there, but like, I don't know, like it's probably fine. So I get back out there and I'm fucking stuck. My truck is stuck in the parking lot. Yeah. So it's like a parking lot and they got like vehicles like quadruple parked, like there's 4 in a row and like, they're right on the street and whatever. So they're all jammed in there. And I just like backed in and like found a decent spot. I thought it was fine, but they had a truck on the end and they just like pulled it out. So I was just jammed in there and I couldn't get out. And I was stuck.
Oh, no.
So I was like, oh shit, what do I fucking do now? And I was like, well, fuck it. I guess I got to go home. And so I just jumped in an Uber and went back to the house and went to the neighbor's house and went and drank wine with the neighbors and whatnot. And I just like told Storm, I was like, yeah, I fucked up. I parked in a bad spot.
Truck's impounded.
Truck's stuck. But then I go get like get up in the morning and I like have dreams about them like towing it, and then I was like sitting in the truck and be like, no, you can't fucking tow me. And I was like had all these things going through my mind, and then I was like, fuck, my samples are in there and I gotta go on the road tomorrow. All my like cowboy shit stuff, my Montana, like all this shit is in there. I fucking need all this stuff. And the fucking truck's gonna get towed. And I was like, son of a bitch. And then 11 they open, but luckily they were fucking open on a Sunday for some reason. So Storm and I went down there, like we left the house like 10:30 sharp. We were there 10:45 and we just like parked across the street and just staked it out. And then I command started my truck, so it was like ready to go. So as soon as I saw any movement, I was gonna bail in and get out of there. And then we waited around because I didn't want to get towed, right? Like I was like, I can't afford this. I can't afford that in this economy. So I was waiting around. Yeah, waiting around. And then finally I was like, fuck it. So I finally like called them. There's no answer. I was like, shit. What's going on? Are they gonna just like not show up today? Like, what do I do? So I go over there and finally like walk over, get the I walk over there, get the courage up to like go and like confront somebody, like, hey, like my truck's here, like. And I was gonna try and blame it on somebody, like, yeah, somebody borrowed my truck and like just parked it here, and I'm trying to go find it. I was trying to get out of it, trying to like grease my way out of this. And then this guy like parks behind there, and I think he works there. And I'm like, hey, would you help me out here? Like, I'm my truck's stuck in here. And he like is kind of a grumpy old looking bastard and like really asshole, like just automatic. Like this guy was a dick. Like he didn't give a fuck. And I didn't know if he worked there or what the deal was, but he's like, oh, sorry. I'm just going to the bank. Can't help you. And I was like, oh shit. I didn't know if he was like putting me off because he's like, this fucking punk parked in my parking lot and I'm not going to fucking move for this motherfucker. So anyways, he leaves and I'm like kind of suspicious that he knows more than he knows. But then finally, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna start this truck, start wiping the snow off of it. Like I'm gonna be ready to go if anything happens, or at least get my shit out of here. And like, fuck, like let's move on. And
They're
then
just gonna sell your truck now.
they're just gonna
It's
sell my
there
truck.
now.
I'm just committed now. Like whatever. And then luckily, this girl shows up like 11:30. I don't want to oust her because she hooked me up. But like she shows up finally, and she's like, "Oh hey, I'll move that truck for you so you can get out." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah." So I just like wipe the snow off, and then I like go and like she jumps in the truck, leaves it, and I fucking whip out of there and get on the road by
Got your truck back.
4 hours later. Yeah, broke
Damn,
out of
that's
the
a
impound.
tough deal.
Yeah. Anyways,
don't park your truck at the car dealership.
watch where the fuck you park your truck. Yeah. Lesson to so I gotta ask the audience. I know we had a few things we talked about different times where like whether you like your subs toasted or not. We had a lot of feedback on that one. What else? So yeah, what's the worst place that you parked and you got dunked on for it? I know you had like a little run in with a fucking post in your parking garage a little while back.
Oh yeah, and I had my car towed from the university one time too.
Oh
'Cause
really?
the university is so bad with parking tickets. So like I went like I had a parking ticket outstanding. I guess like, it was like a $40 ticket.
Yeah.
And I went into class and I came out in the evening. I had to leave to go to hockey practice. My freaking car was towed away and I had to like go running all over campus to get it back on time. And I didn't make it to hockey that night.
Was that the Palominos?
Yeah, I went out playing with the pals.
Oh, dang.
But it was like 7 at night, like in the middle of the winter. My car just got towed to like some crazy lot on the opposite side of the university, and I couldn't find any answers from anybody to figure out how to get it back.
Well, at least it wasn't
so
like
annoying.
on that downtown one down off like 50th Ave. That was
Oh yeah, that's an annoying one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Storm had that
Bad
one
deal.
time. She parked on like 11th Ave or something during the wrong time, and she missed it by like 12 minutes, and they fucking towed it down to that lot.
They're
That was a
ruthless,
bad
man.
one.
They are ruthless fuckers.
Fuck, what else? Oh, okay, dude, the Bachelorette. So we're only like
We're
a
back.
couple weeks away from this. What day is it today? So this is 24th.
22nd.
So then like
The
24th, 31st, 7th. Yeah. So like the next show is already the Bachelorette. So if you listen to the show right now, make sure and go on our socials too, right, Wacey? We got the link in the bio for that too. So our friend Cassie Hausauer from lipstickandcowboyboots.com, she has agreed, I don't know why, but she's agreed to be the Bachelorette. We've kind of talked about this. Like Paige Morgan one time said she wanted to be the Bachelorette. I think Lacey O'Donnell, before she found her soulmate Saul, she was gonna be the Bachelorette. And then I don't know, I think somebody else said they might want to do it. But anyways,
It's happening.
Registration is open. When are we gonna close it? We gotta get.
I think the
urgency
weekend. I
going.
think the weekend before, or like so.
So that's next weekend.
We're recording on the 5th, so I think they're gonna close on the 3rd, Friday the 3rd,
Friday the 3rd. Well, we're gonna
or
need more
even
time than that to get
Thursday
lined up.
Thursday the 2nd.
How about the 1st? Groundhog Day.
Wednesday the 1st. Okay,
and
sure.
Man, we got a lot of stuff going on actually because we're trying to launch our new website for February 1st too. With our new line, as you can see in my sweater. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing.
Hell yeah.
But you might have
Stay
seen
tuned
it
for
somewhere.
some big news on that front.
It's in some stores. We got some new stuff. Some new hats, new sweaters, t-shirts, the whole shittery. It's coming out probably February 1st. But applications for the Bachelorette. The show's gonna come out on the 7th. But the what are we trying to say? Applications though are closing soon. So get your name in. Nominate a
or
friend.
somebody you know who would fit the bill.
Yeah, we are already narrowing down the list. We already have more entries than we really need, so we're already narrowing the list down. So check it out. Anyways, that wraps up the show for this week. Anyways, you good, Wace?
I'm good, bud. Yeah,
I think we're pretty much done. That's okay. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to David Sharp, Jason Cline, and Erick Thornberg for being on this week. Once again, thanks to the Canadian Finals Rodeo for having us doing Cowboy Shit live. We are multi-provincial here currently, and this show had a lot of people on it. We got David from Georgia, Jason's in Alberta, you're in BC, Eric's in North Dakota. It's a pretty international crowd. So so thanks everybody for joining us. Get your applications in for the Bachelor. Stay tuned. We got new shit coming your way, or haberdashery, as my friend Will Osler says. So get yourself tuned in for the new shit. We'll catch up soon. Bye-bye.
I've got a love